All right, listen up, fam. This high school is basically a training camp for future criminals. We're talking sleeping in class, brawling the hallways, even the teachers are too scared to step in. Isn't this place a total nightmare for studying? But get a load of our boy. He looks like a total nerd with those glasses, but he's actually a top-tier fighter who settles arguments with his fists. And his ultimate goal for being here? To get into college. Back in the classroom, the study group is trying to get their session going, but wait, where's Gammon? He's never late. Just as they're wondering, one of the guys suddenly springs to his feet, making everyone jump. What's his deal? Meanwhile, outside, it looks like someone else is searching for a missing person, and they're nowhere to be found. And talk about bad timing, another student gets a devastating call. His mom's been in an accident and is headed to the hospital. Man, the drama just never stops at this school. The plot thickens. An intense phone call is going down. Someone's being warned not to return to Korea. But little do they know, tragedy has already struck. Two students are down on the field. This is bad. This is really bad. And here we are at the hospital. The doctor's report is grim. Severe blood loss, deep wounds. This is no simple schoolyard scuffle. And look who's here. Our boy Gammon. He's dead serious, asking about someone's father. Then this woman breaks down, apologizing to him, saying it's all her fault. What is going on here? You can see the weight of the world on Gammon's shoulders. He's spiraling, replaying every decision in his head. What if I never came to this school? What if I hadn't saved June? What if I never started the damn study group? Our boy is starting to break, thinking none of this would have happened if he'd just stayed a nobody. Walking through the halls like a ghost, he sees it. The study group flyer, torn and defaced. A final insult. He snatches in a fit of rage, ready to give up, but then he stops. He picks up the pieces. Look at that fire in his eyes. No, he's not done. Not by a long shot. Back in another classroom, the tension is so thick you could cut it with a knife. The teacher's asking if anyone's sick, but one student is just staring daggers, clenching his fist. He's thinking, after everything you did, you're just sitting there like nothing happened. Oh, the culprit is in the room. This is getting good. And here we go. The gray-haired dude from earlier catches up to our angry friend in the hallway. He's warning him, you're being reckless. And then he drops the bombshell. I saw what happened on the roof. So it wasn't just some random fight. It was a rooftop incident. The secret's out. Looks like Gammon is about to charge in head first, but Hank Yong, his tutor, grabs him. You're really impulsive. Want your mother to get hurt again? Oof, low blow but necessary. He reminds Gammon they're in the middle of a school-wide assembly. This is not the time or place. We also learn about the school's politics. The top dog Hamill has a teacher, Mr. Ha, acting as his personal safety net. The system is corrupt from the top down. Meanwhile, the witness from the rooftop is spilling everything. He suspects the same people are responsible for his mother's death. The problem? He has zero proof. Damn, this is getting personal now. We're talking a full-blown revenge plot. He knows the cops are in bed with the gang, so without rock-solid evidence, he's powerless. He has to breathe the same air as the scumbag who might have killed his mom every single day. Look at that trembling fist. The rage is real. Just then, the school's PA system crackles to life. All students are to report to the auditorium immediately. Well, you know what that means. Something big is about to go down, and everyone's being summoned. The entire student body is being herded into the auditorium, and nobody's happy about it. Some are cursing out the principal, while others are just stoked to be skipping first period. These delinquents really have their priorities straight, don't they? Amidst the crowd, Gammon walks alone. But then he turns, and a cold smirk spreads across his face. Who did he just spot? That's the look of someone who's just found their target. And there it is. Someone calls his name, and our boy is off like a rocket. No words, just action. He closes the distance in a flash and lands a solid thwack right on the guy's face. That's Gammon for you. All business, no hesitation. The guy he hit is absolutely fuming, screaming about who Gammon's homeroom teacher is, trying to pull rank. But our boy is too quick. He slides past the incoming grab and counters with another punch. So clean, so efficient. In a school nicknamed Future Criminals Academy, violence is the only language everyone understands. Gammon's punch sends the guy flying, leaving his little cronies completely stunned and speechless. They've never seen their boss get rocked like that. But the silver-haired guy he attacked is no pushover. He retaliates with a nasty kick that connects hard. Gammon takes the hit, but that look on his face isn't just pain, it's surprise. It's like he's saying, oh, so you can actually fight back? And in the next instant, the tables turn completely. Gammon lands a massive punch that sends the school's top dog, Hanwell, flying into the wall. The crowd goes wild. Am I seeing things? He just punched. Hanwell. This is going to cause an uproar. Even after getting rocked, Hanwell is still looking down on him. He's so used to everyone being terrified of him. He's under the delusion that he's untouchable. He clearly still thinks Gammon is just some random scrub. And just like that, the safety net teacher shows up. He orders Gammon to the teacher's office, trying to shut this down with his authority. But Gammon just smirks back, as if to say, "We'll see who gets the last laugh." In the office, the teacher is already scheming. He thinks Gammon is screwed for hitting another student in front of him. He sees this as a perfect opportunity to look good for Hamill's family and the principal. A real two birds, one stone situation. But that quote on the bulletin board is telling. When they get angry, they bring about a change. Foreshadowing much? One of Gammon's friends tries to go after him, but gets blocked. This guy just won't listen. He's totally absorbed in a book about Malcolm X. Dude, your friend's in trouble. Maybe now's not the time for a history lesson? This teacher is absolutely shameless. He's a contract worker, so he sees Gammon's case as his golden ticket to a permanent position. He's already planning how to spin this to make himself look like a hero. The auditorium is buzzing. The whole school is gathered, and you can bet what the hot topic is. Did you hear? A first-year decked handle. The gossip is spreading like wildfire. Meanwhile, the study group members are freaking out. The girls are worried sick, and the redhead is fuming about how much of a mess Gammon has created. The anxiety is through the roof. The assembly begins, and the atmosphere is incredibly tense. It's pretty clear the school administration plans to make a public example out of someone. A guy from the school board gets on stage. He starts with a weird question about who wants to be a gangster, then pivots, claiming someone submitted a petition labeling their school a breeding ground for criminals. This guy is clearly trying to deflect and shift the blame. And then he pulls the ultimate scumbag move. He calls out the new teacher, the one who's been there less than a month, and puts her on the spot. He asks her to come up and give words of encouragement to the students who've been wrongfully labeled. He's totally cornering her, forcing her to pick a side. What a snake. The principal is basically using the students as a shield to publicly shame Ms. Lee, the teacher who submitted the petition. If she speaks the truth about the school's problems, the entire student body will turn on her. The pressure is immense. Ms. Lee gets up on stage, completely frozen with anxiety. She can't get a word out, and the students, being the charming delinquents they are, start booing and heckling her. The crowd is getting restless, and some are already guessing she's the one who submitted the petition. The school administrators are just watching from the sidelines, enjoying the show. They're muttering about how she can't even voice her opinion, letting the chaos escalate. But just as things are about to boil over, a lone figure starts walking through the crowd, heading straight for the stage. Yep, it's our boy. He calmly returns a pair of glasses to a classmate and, under the shocked gaze of the entire school, makes his way to the podium. Ms. Lee is stunned to see him. "Why did you come up here?" The study group members are losing their minds. What is that weirdo going to do now? Gammon. Nobody has a clue what he's planning. The slimy teacher who set this whole thing up rushes over, demanding to know what he's doing. But Gammon completely ignores him. He's got one thing and one thing only on his mind. He flashes back to all the chaos at this school, and then his eyes land on that quote from the bulletin board. When they get angry, they bring about a change. He takes his place next to Ms. Lee at the podium. He grabs the microphone, his gaze firm and unwavering. Looking out at the entire student body, he makes his declaration loud and clear. "I am here to change this entire school." Mic drop. The crowd is stunned into silence. Gammon's bold statement sends shockwaves through the auditorium. Who the hell is he? Which grade is he in? Wait, that's him, the monster from Class 4. The whispers turn into a roar. The main event is just getting started. Flashing back for a moment, we see Hamill's lackeys getting absolutely wrecked. They're on the ground, completely baffled that they got taken out by a first-year baby. These guys are panicking. They can't believe Gammon had the guts to punch Hamill himself. They know all about Hamill's powerful family, and if word gets out, they're all screwed. Some of them are already talking about quitting the crew. And just like that, infighting breaks out. One of them snaps. What are we supposed to do for a living? All we know is how to throw punches. The harsh reality of their future is setting in, and the group is starting to crumble. The blonde guy gets called out for being lazy, and he explodes. He screams that he doesn't want to work hard. He just wants to coast. It's the classic delinquent mindset. Not that they can't succeed, but that they don't want to try. Turns out the blonde dude sold his car and gambled all the money away. His buddy rips into him, telling him his life is destined for failure. Tensions boil over, and fists start flying. The blonde guy, Sunchul, is clearly fed up. He's told to just go find a minimum wage job. Then someone mentions that Hamill is probably in a bad mood today. Yeah, no kidding. He just got humiliated in front of the whole school. As this guy Sunchul is walking down the stairs, he spots one of the old study group flyers. The message about taking action against the entire school stops him in his tracks. He picks it up and sees that someone has crossed out study group and written nope, never LMAO. In this school, trying to study is a joke. But look at Sunchal's face. He seems to be having second thoughts. We get a quick montage. The usual classroom chaos contrasted with a cold, lonely drip in a hospital room. It's a stark reminder of the serious consequences brewing just beneath the surface. And here's the story. Sunchal's grandpa is in the hospital, and all the old man talks about is seeing his grandson become a great person before he dies. Sunchal acts all annoyed, but you can tell he cares. His grandpa, even at his age, is studying for the TOEIC exam. He passionately believes that studying is the only way for a person to increase their worth, screaming, "It's TO study. You gotta respect the hustle." But reality is harsh. His grandpa is coughing up blood, the chemo is expensive, and the outlook is grim. Sunchal stands at the nurse's station, crushed not just by his grandpa's illness, but by the overwhelming financial burden. Exhausted and defeated, Sunchal runs into Gammon in the hallway. Two guys from completely different worlds, and their paths are finally about to cross. Sunchal offers Gammon a drink, and Gammon cuts right to the chase. Why? Do you follow Hamwell's orders? That's the million-dollar question, and you can see it hits a nerve with Sunchal. Sunchal admits he's not a nice guy. He follows Hamwell because he gets what he needs in return. He starts to ask Gammon if he trains, but suddenly there's a zapping sound, and he collapses in pain. What the hell was that? Oh crap, Hamwell's personal trainers have arrived. These are the guys who train the gang's enforcers, and they're here for Sunchal. Looks like Hamwell doesn't trust him anymore and has sent his dogs to teach him a lesson. Back to the present, in the auditorium. After Gammon's big speech, some goon tries to drag him off stage, but one of the teachers steps in. Wait, sir. Let's hear what he has to say. See? Not everyone at this school is a complete dirtbag. Gammon announces two things. First, midterms are coming up. Second, to help everyone study, he's going to clean up the school by getting rid of anyone who disrupts their studies. Down in the crowd, Sunchal hears this and completely loses it. This is a declaration of war, and he starts by pointing directly at two of Hamwell's goons, calling them out for disrupting the peace. The guys are flabbergasted. What the hell is up with this damn high schooler? They think he's completely lost his mind. Hamwell's crew is baffled by Gammon's actions. Is he trying to be virtuous or something? But one of them connects the dots, realizing the lesson Hamwell wanted them to teach Gammon probably wasn't going to be in a classroom. Rewind to that scene outside the hospital. Sunchal was giving Gammon a hard time, asking for his name and then swinging on him before he could even finish answering. This guy's a classic hothead, all fists and no brains. Gammon simply trips and falls, and these thugs immediately start mocking him, calling him a freshman who doesn't know his place. They're all puffed up, saying he's lucky they didn't waste their energy on him. The arrogance is off the charts. The redhead from a study group stops Sunchal in the hall. If you're going to study, he asks, reminding him that midterms are coming up. The vibe between these two is definitely tense. Someone jokingly tells Gammon he has the face of a gang boss. He goes to check his phone, only to realize, wait a minute, this isn't his phone. Classic mix-up. The phone rings, and the caller ID says Grandpa. Oh, he's got Sunchal's phone. And where's Sunchal? He's in a classroom with Gammon's TOEIC book, taking notes and muttering about how he's got a long way to go before becoming a great person. These two accidentally swap lives, and it's hilarious. Following the lead, Gammon ends up at the hospital and meets Sunchal's grandpa. The old man's eyesight is failing, so he asks Gammon to help grade his homework. What a fateful encounter, connecting Gammon directly with Sunchal's family. The result? He got everything wrong, except for 4 questions. Gammon tries to console him, admitting that he couldn't even get one right, hoping to soften the blow. But the old man is surprisingly upbeat. Yesterday I only got 3 right, he exclaims. He's celebrating the improvement, convinced he'll get 5 right tomorrow. You gotta love his positive attitude. Gammon is left absolutely speechless. The grandpa gets nostalgic, telling a story from his youth. Back then, bananas were a rare luxury, and he learned to ride a bike delivering newspapers just hoping to earn one, only to crash and burn spectacularly. That chase for the banana, that sweet moment of victory, was short-lived but unforgettable. It's a funny story, but it's also about the relentless pursuit of a simple dream. The grandpa wraps up his story with a life lesson. Studying for the TOEIC is like learning to ride a bike. You'll fall down a lot, but as long as you keep getting back on, you'll eventually get the hang of it. What a beautiful metaphor. And it all clicks for Gammon. Those flashcards Sunchal had, they belong to his grandpa. Our boy is finally starting to understand the pressure and conflict Sunchal is dealing with. As Gammon leaves, the grandpa makes one last request. Please, help his grandson Sunchal find the joy in learning. It's a heavy burden, The hope of a grandfather passed on to a stranger. The next day, his tutor Hankyong tracks Gammon down and just unloads on him for the stunt he pulled at the assembly. But his study group buddies? They think what he did was awesome. The duality of man. The mood shifts dramatically when the female detective shows up with terrible news. They found a body. It's Sunchul. He was stabbed multiple times, and the surveillance footage points to one prime suspect. The suspect is another student, Sunchul Kim, a third year and a member of the White Lead gang who's been missing since yesterday. And the army are the trainees for the gang. It turns out, our Sunchul was framed to take the fall for this other Sunchul. The detective explains she can't trust anyone at her precinct, which is why she came to Gammon's crew for help. Her plan is to use them as bait to lure out the real culprits. This is one risky gambit. Naturally, the group is outraged. Use them, a bunch of high school kids, as bait for a dangerous gang? They think she's insane. But Gammon has a different idea. He suggests they go undercover, pretending to be delinquents to infiltrate the gang and take them down from inside. He tells his friends that he'll be transferring schools once his mom is discharged, but until then, he's going to change this place himself. This isn't just about studying anymore. It's about protecting the people he cares about. The redhead breaks it down for everyone. This school is basically a recruitment center for the gang. To get in, you have to make a name for yourself through fighting. If they want to change the school, they have to break that system first. Gammon goes to the hospital to tell his mom his decision. He's going to fight, not just for himself, but to protect good people like Ms. Lee from getting hurt. His mom knows how stubborn he is. She sighs, defeated. I'm definitely transferring you when I get out, she says, but until then, just do what you want. With his mom's reluctant blessing, Gammon's plan is officially a go. The redhead claps him on the shoulder, a mischievous grin on his face. He looks more than ready for some action. The whole study group is on board. They decide to team up and work with the detective's plan to get rid of the army scum infesting their school for good. After school, they put their plan into motion. Step 1. Act like a bunch of wannabe delinquents and start making contact with the low-level gang members. They even recruit the Rehab Bros duo from Hyukchang High to help them out. These guys used to be army members themselves before they went straight, making them the perfect acting coaches for this undercover mission. The Rehab brothers give them a crucial piece of intel. All the army members in Incheon are having a secret meeting. This is their chance to catch them all in one fell swoop. In the car, the detective asks Gammon a tough question. Are you sure Sunchul is the real culprit? All the evidence points to him, but Gammon can't shake the feeling that something isn't right. That's right, all the evidence points to the other Sunchul Kim. But Gammon knows the blonde kid who was studying for his grandpa. There's no way he could be the killer. He's determined to find the real truth. Lost in thought, Gammon gets knocked to the ground. He looks up, and who else would it be but another group of thugs? Gammon gets back on his feet and yells at the top of his lungs. Sunchul isn't the culprit. He's going to clear that innocent kid's name, one way or another. The goons just laugh, thinking he's just some wimpy high schooler. They have no idea they just picked a fight with a top-tier fighter who's willing to risk it all for his dream. The show's not over yet, not even close. Meanwhile, in another part of town, we meet this silver-haired dude, Hanwol, who looks seriously pissed off. His buddy rolls in, all excited about his new mic kicks, but Hanwol is not in the mood. Turns out, Hanwol's annoyed because word has gotten back to him that our boy Gammon has basically declared war. Little do they know, back at the school auditorium, things are already getting rowdy. The students are in an uproar, booing and causing a scene. Even the teachers are confused, like, is this dude the student council president? Nah, this school's too chaotic for elections. The whole place erupts into a brawl over Sunchul's name. Suddenly, a girl with a ponytail takes the stage. Gammon's just as confused as we are. She starts giving a speech, mentioning her mentor, Yoonghwa, who passed away. This reveal hits everyone like a truck. Look at Gammon's face. This whole situation has the teachers fired up. They're arguing amongst themselves, but they all agree on one thing. They won't let this school get shut down. Not as long as there's even one student who wants to learn. The passion is real. This female teacher declares they'll never give up. And we see another teacher, who turns out to be Gunyeb's father, vowing that he can't give up on these kids. The weight on their shoulders is immense. The chaotic assembly is finally over, and everyone is ordered back to class. But of course, the drama doesn't stop. In the stairwell, some shady conversation is going down, and just as things seem to calm down, a new challenger appears. Some upperclassmen are cornering a freshman, screaming in his face, "Is Yu Sung Hai a joke to you?" The classic bully routine. Meanwhile, Hanwol is walking alone, processing the news about the new girl, realizing she has a similar vibe to someone he knows. And speak of the devil, a teacher shows up. Look at this. The bullies immediately drop to the ground, bowing and scraping. The teacher just sarcastically remarks, like teacher, like student. The disrespect is palpable. But Hanwell isn't buying their act. He tells the teacher not to assume everyone's the same, promising that change is definitely coming. Just as he's making his bold declaration, his phone starts buzzing. Perfect timing. The call is an update. Wake up Dachel and Minchel and go see Sunchel at the hospital. The guy on the phone mentions that Gammon has flashcards. And what do we see? Our boy, in the middle of all this chaos, still focused on his studies. You gotta respect the grind. Later that night, Gammon confronts the guys who took his friend's money. One of them is already on the ground. The thug tries to act tough, glaring at me won't do anything, but Gammon's response is ice cold. Move. And here we get some terrifying exposition. They start talking about a guy known as the Reaper, a top dog in a gang who uses underage kids to do their dirty work. They promise the kids money or a position in the gang if they take the fall, exploiting the juvenile protection laws. It's messed up. The reality of the situation crashes down on Sunchel's friends. They were being lured in with the promise of a car, only to get dragged into this mess. They confess they were trying to save up money for Sunchel's grandpa's hospital bills. The regret is hitting them hard. And the gut punch, the gang didn't just scam them, they took the very money they had saved for the hospital bills. One of the friends just completely breaks down, screaming and crying in the street. They took everything. In his desperation, he turns to Gammon. He knows it's shameful to ask, but he's got nowhere else to go. You're strong, he says, begging Gammon to help them, just this once. Gammon doesn't need words. His answer is a swift, powerful punch that sends one of the thugs flying. Look at the shock on that guy's face. He had no idea what was coming. That's our boy. The aftermath is brutal. A couple of thuds, a middle finger for good measure, and it's over. A few days later, we see them outside the police station. The tone shifts. Something serious has happened. It seems Gammon's reputation is spreading. A new group approaches them, saying they've got a really hot request for help. They're walking right into the lion's den, exactly what Ms. Lee was worried about. So, the study group assembles and heads into the school at night. The mission is clear. If Sunchel gets arrested by the police, he'll be branded a murderer for life. They have to stop that from happening. The mission is on. Gammon, Han-kyung, and Jun are ready to risk it all. Their goal: infiltrate the school and find the proof that Sunchel isn't the culprit. Right off the bat, they run into some adults who seem to be part of the gang. One of them singles out Gammon. Hey, kid with the glasses. Oh, is their cover already blown? Gammon is immediately on edge, wondering if they know who he is. His friends are whispering, freaking out, telling him, I told you not to wear the glasses. Dude, the glasses are his whole identity. They manage to sneak past, but not without some friendly fire. His buddies start teasing him about his backpack, joking that he's a closeted nerd. They finally make it into a restricted area, breathing a sigh of relief. Time for a briefing. They need to be quiet and just grab the evidence. The Army's General Assembly is happening in an abandoned building on campus. This is getting serious. And what's the evidence they're looking for? A specific knife, left in an ashtray, that will prove Sunchel isn't the killer. This is their one shot. We finally get a name for the real killer. Song Wong-chu, the operations head of the White League gang. And get this, he's Jae Hwang-chu's father. The plot thickens. The source is solid. Chu used his favorite steak knife for the murder. And even though he tried to clean it, forensic science can still find traces of blood. The theory is he's too sentimental to throw away his prized knife, so it must be hidden in his office. This is their last hope. They have a plan. Watch the door. Wait for Chu to take the elevator, then grab the knife and run. But just as they're about to execute, Han-kyung slams the door shut in a panic. Gasp. She's freaking out because he's coming their way. The target isn't taking the elevator. He's taking the stairs. Why? The plan is already going off the rails, and they haven't even started. Down the stairs come Chu and his lackeys. One of them is complaining about the broken elevator. They notice another guy looks nervous, but he quickly dismisses it. They're getting closer. Suddenly, Chu stopped. He heard something. A noise from the rooftop door closing. Who would be up there at this hour, he wonders. He decides to go check it out. Oh no, this is bad. His men are unsure if they heard anything, but then, thunk. A loud noise comes from inside the room they were about to check. After a moment of silence, the door cracks open, and our boy Gammon crawls out from underneath, looking completely dazed. He's holding a dumbbell plate? What the heck? He looks just as confused as they are. And when they try the door, they find it's been chained shut from the inside. What's going on? Meanwhile, downstairs, the rest of the gang is gossiping. They're talking about how Sunchel Kim is taking over from Mr. Chu, who is apparently getting too greedy and might end up in jail. The internal politics are a mess. Jae Hwang, Chu's son, is sitting there looking pissed. He's expecting his dad to come in and deal with these guys, but as his dad's men approach, they're looking anything but happy. Oh, F asterisk CK, they mutter. Back with Gammon's friends, the teachers recognize them and panic, realizing Gammon must be on the roof. They're about to rush off to find the evidence, but run headfirst into a bald dude who yells, "What the F asterisk CK are you guys doing here?" And it's a horrible case of deja vu. They recognize him instantly. That's the guy who swung the knife at us. The memory sends a shiver down their spines. The tension is skyrocketing. And just like that, all hell breaks loose. Hank Young is chasing this UBCO kid, June is throwing kicks, and Gammon is clunking around with his dumbbell plate. It's absolute chaos. And from a distance, two men in suits are watching the whole thing unfold. They smoke cigarettes, observing the chaos at Yusung High, their faces unreadable. Who are these guys? Turns out these mystery men are discussing UBCO, the bald kid. They're wondering if he's an imposter, pretending to be part of the army. I mean, who in their right mind would pretend to be one of them unless they had a death wish? One gets a text to inform Sianho. The other scoffs, putting up guards for a high school. How amazing. Down below, the school's floor plan shows everyone's positions. The stage is set for an all-out war. Back in the hallway, the fight is on. The bald dude comes in swinging, talking trash, but our red-headed friend, June, isn't having it. He lands a solid kick, and it's clear this is going to be a real fight. June recognizes the bald guy. He's the imposter from last time, and he's wearing June's uniform. He grabs the guy's tie, mocking him. After the beating we gave you last time, you still haven't learned your lesson? The disrespect. The bald guy fires back, saying it was 3 against 1 last time, so it doesn't count. Oh, that's it. June is done talking. He gets into a fighting stance. It's about to go down for real. Meanwhile, on the second floor, the gang is having their quarterly awards ceremony, which is basically just them divvying up their loot. The students are whispering about the prizes, worth thousands of dollars, wondering if they got the money from robbing internet cafes or selling phones. Chu's son, Jae Huang, just sits there, looking bored and annoyed by the noise. The big boss, Mr. Chu, finally speaks. He's not happy that some members are missing and orders his men to find them and beat them senseless. When they announce the last place team, Mahayan High, his son Jae Huang grabs his bat. It's punishment time. With a single blow, Mr. Chu sends a student flying across the room. The sheer power is terrifying. The other kids are frozen in fear, whispering, "That's the operations head of the white lead gang. He's in his 40s, and he can do that." So that's his game. He's using this meeting as an excuse to beat up kids who want to quit. He even tells one guy, "I'll let you quit if you take 100 hits." This isn't a meeting, it's a public execution. The room descends into chaos. Screams for mercy mix with angry shouts. In this school for future criminals, the law of the jungle is on full display. But then, a new player enters the game. Someone kicks Jae Huang to the ground, calling him a punk who's just riding his dad's coattails. Everyone looks closer and realizes the guy is wearing an electronic ankle monitor. Who is this dude? Meanwhile, Hank Young is still upstairs, searching for the evidence. She's thinking, 4 eyes? Is he still on the rooftop? She knows she has to find the target item, and fast. And bingo! She finds it. Tucked away in an ashtray is the steak knife. Holding the evidence, a triumphant grin spreads across her face. But the two goons standing behind her, they don't look too happy about it. Just then, Mr. Chu's men arrive on the scene. They walk in to find a room full of students ready to throw down. "What should we do with these kids?" one asks. It looks like they're in the right place. The brawl downstairs is in full swing, and upstairs, the fight between June and the bald imposter is reaching its climax. The entire school has become a war zone. Hank Young, with a knife clenched in her teeth, is sprinting down the hall for her life, a whole crew of thugs hot on her tail. But then disaster strikes. Someone ambushes her from the side, knocking her to the ground. The evidence goes flying. As Mr. Chu's men stand there, utterly confused about why a textbook just fell from the sky, they look up and see our boy Gammon, perched on the edge of the wall, pointing down at them with a look of pure shock. The next second, Gammon launches himself off the wall, delivering a devastating flying kick that sends one of the suits soaring. What an entrance! He is absolutely showing off, and he knows it. Turns out, Gammon realized the rooftop door was chained shut, trapping him up there. Thinking fast, he texted his friends, telling them to take the evidence and leave without him. The self-sacrifice is real. This triggers a memory for Gammon, a special trick Ms. Lee taught them for midterms. In a school full of slackers, the teachers basically have to spoon-feed them the exam answers just to get anyone to pass. The teacher is practically begging them. These will be on the exam, word for word. And our boy Gammon, the only one paying attention, is frantically taking notes. The dedication is off the charts. But just as he's in the zone, his phone buzzes. It's Ms. Lee. Gammon panics, thinking she found out they're here. He shoves all the evidence under the desk and grabs a textbook, trying to look casual. The panic is hilarious. So that's what happened. The textbook he dropped landed right on one of the goons. The guy looks up, sees Gammon pointing, and his boss squints, wondering, was someone on the rooftop? Gammon's clumsy entrance breaks the tension, but then he shouts the teacher's name, and immediately after, a window shatters. So much for being sneaky. The teacher picks up the notebook Gammon dropped, and his expression turns dark. He flashes back to a time he was humiliated by Mr. Chu. This is his chance for revenge, and he's going to use these kids to get it. It was all a setup. Hanwol and this teacher were in on it together. Their plan was to frame Sunchul for the murder, then have Hanwol's father swoop in and save him, making Sunchul forever indebted to them. These guys play dirty. Hanwol's goal is simple. Use his authority to crush Sunchul, to make him unable to ever dream of an ordinary life again. He wants to own him, body and soul. Meanwhile, with his dad's plan in motion, Jae Hwang is just rage gaming on the couch. Hanwol and his girl walk in, completely ignoring him. The tension in this room is so thick you could cut it with a knife. Just as Gammon is trying to figure out his next move, he hears it. The sound of a window breaking, followed by a scream from downstairs. The fight has started without him. Downstairs, Jun and Yubi are going at it hard. Jun always thought Yubi was just some punk who only knew how to use a knife, but he's quickly learning that Yubi's hand-to-hand combat is no joke. Jun lands a heavy kick, but Yubi just takes it. Jun tries to play it cool. Was that supposed to hurt? Honestly, it friggin' hurts a lot, doesn't it? He's just bluffing. Yubi isn't here to talk. He grabs Jun by the head and starts smashing it against the wall. Jun tries to create some distance, but it's too late. He's caught. It's a brutal combo. A slap, a slam to the ground, and finally a vicious stomp to the chest. The fight is over, and Jun has been completely overpowered. Standing over him, Yubi delivers the final verbal blow. You fail because you just pretend to try. The weak will always be weak, no matter how hard they work. Ouch, that's cold. Turns out, Yubi's got a backstory. He was forced into some kind of rehab program, a brutal training ground. And the guy who trained him, the guy Yubi could never beat, Gammon knocked him out with a single blow. This messed with Yubi's head. No matter how much he trained, he still couldn't win. Meanwhile, back in the study group, Jun is having a similar crisis over his English score, feeling like memorizing words is pointless. His brainy friend tries to cheer him up with a metaphor. Guess what happens when you heat water? Jun's answer? You can eat ramen. The dude a lost cause, I swear. Wrong. His friend explains that even if you can't see it, heating water causes changes. It's the same with studying. It's easy to think that nothing is changing when the results aren't immediate. A little bit of wholesome motivation. Just as the wholesome study session memory concludes, we snap back to reality. Yubi, his face twisted in a cruel sneer, looks down at Jun and says, "Okay then, let's draw some blood." Meanwhile, Han-kyung is still on the run. She can't stop thinking about what Four Eyes did. Why would he act that way? She's wondering if he has another plan up his sleeve. Lying in a pool of his own blood, Jun isn't ready to give up. He clenches his fist, the fire of defiance still burning in his eyes. Yubi looks down at him, almost curious. What's holding you back? With a roar, Jun struggles to his feet. It's my turn now. He pushes through the searing pain from the knife wound. This is what it feels like to get cut, but at least I won't die from it. This kid's got guts. Using the narrow hallway to his advantage, Jun crashes into the wall and rolls, dodging Yubi's next attack. He quickly gets back into position, ready for another round. The look in his eyes, he's a different person now. Suddenly, Jun's speed explodes. He's even faster than the last opponent who gave him trouble. "I'll tear you to shreds," he screams, unleashing a flurry of blows. Yubi is stunned. He never saw this coming. Yubi is forced on the defensive, wildly swinging his whatever that tool is just to keep Jun at bay. But Jun sees an opening and yells, "Right there, you coward." Jun's punch misses, and Yubi's weapon slashes his arm. Yubi scoffs. Tools are meant to be used, fool. Who says wars are only fought with fists? The pain brings back memories of middle school, of getting beaten up every single day. It helped him build endurance. He remembers, but it was fucking miserable. He used to think hard work was enough, but reality taught him otherwise. It wasn't until he joined the army at Hyuk Shanghai that he learned the truth. To avoid getting stepped on, you have to be the one doing the stepping. Completely enraged, Yubi decides he'll win by any means necessary. He turns to chase after Han-kyung, who ran off earlier. He needs to get that evidence back. But Jun blocks his path, screaming his own philosophy. "I want to be stronger, to help people up." The conviction in his voice is electrifying. He's found his reason to fight. Fueled by his new resolve, Jun's attacks become even more relentless. Yubi hesitates for a split second, and that's all Jun needs. With a powerful crunch, he disarms him. He flashes back to his clumsy attempts at practicing backflips, falling over and over again. But he never gave up. All that ridiculous practice is what's giving him the strength he needs right now. The people he's always looked up to, the people he's watched over, they're the type of person who fights to protect others. And that's the type of person I'm going to be. With this final declaration, Jun unleashes his ultimate move, a spectacular spinning kick. He completely fails the landing, face-planting on the floor, but the kick connects. Yubi stumbles back, completely shocked. "You still had energy for that," he gasps. Clutching his side, Yubi finally collapses. He's defeated. "If you had punched me with your fist instead of using that knife at the end," he mutters, "you would have knocked me out." He admits defeat. Game over. Just then, Han-kyung gets the text from Gammon, telling her he's trapped. At the same moment, the windows on the 4th floor explode outward. Looks like our boy is making his own exit. Han-kyung is finally cornered by another girl from the gang. The girl just grins, a creepy look on her face, and says, "It's been such a long time since I played tag with a girl." Han-kyung sprints to the end of the hall, only to find a dead end. There's no door. The psycho girl catches up, a sword now clenched in her teeth, her expression absolutely unhinged. This is not looking good for Han-kyung. Not good at all. Meanwhile, outside the school, things are just as messy. Some goons are dragging someone away, yelling about a fish knife being murder evidence. Looks like there are more players in this game than just our crew. And it seems not everyone is on the same page. This guy's torn up about entrusting his friend of 10 years to a first year he barely knows. The internal drama is just as intense as the fist fights. Back inside the school, it's clear our boy Gammon has been busy. The hallway is absolutely littered with bodies. Look at them, all begging for mercy. He didn't waste a single second after breaking out. Oh, and look who's also cleaning house, Sunchul Kim, dropping guys left and right. His buddy is totally roasting him for probably having some lame secret name for that kick. But his showboating gets cut short when this girl in black steps up, looking like she wants to have a little talk. And the tension just skyrockets. She's looking at him like prey, clenching her fist. Quick flash of rage, and BM. She just goes for it. Man, everyone in this school is ready to throw down at a moment's notice. The whole hallway is a war zone now. It's a total free-for-all, with bodies dropping left and right. These two are going at it hard. You can almost feel the impact of those punches. But the physical fight is just one part of it. The real struggle is about the choices being forced on them. Someone's being pushed into a corner, where one yes means living life as a criminal in the dark. This whole family duty thing sounds more like a curse. The mood swings here are insane. One second, someone's making threats about living nightmares. The next, they're celebrating a victory. The emotional state of these high schoolers is a total roller coaster. Meanwhile, two other guys are running for their lives. They're talking about running into the Grim Reapers, and they look absolutely terrified. Whatever they're running from, it's serious business. And just then, a new challenger enters the arena. This orange-haired girl with a stick in her mouth looks fierce. She seems to know something and is charging right in. This is about to get interesting. And she immediately gets caught. The tough girl gets her neck pinned with a stick. As she struggles, a mysterious masked figure zips by, muttering about not filing police reports even if something bad happens. So much is going on at once. But you think that's going to hold her down? Not a chance. She screams a warning that he's coming, flips herself free, and immediately starts throwing kicks. This girl has got some serious moves. Her buddy is just watching like, "I told you, she's not an ordinary girl." She gets back on her feet, brushing it off like she was just caught off guard. Now, she's getting serious. Just then, the big boss, Jae-sung, shows up, talking about how his girls are untouched. What a creep. Our orange-haired hero is not having it, absolutely fuming. A big fight is brewing. Jae-sung seems to recognize her defiant attitude, comparing her to another arrogant girl he knew from Mayon High. And the creep actually tells her he hopes she keeps that attitude. This guy's a total psycho, and his twisted logic is revealed. He gets a kick out of seeing disgust turn into fear. He recalls a girl who jumped off a building because of him and shows zero remorse, calling her foolish. This dude is rotten to the core. Elsewhere, a girl in a lab coat is getting into a heated argument with Jae-sung. He tells her to mind her own business, which was clearly the wrong thing to say. She completely explodes, letting the curses fly. Back to the action. No time for talk. Our orange-haired girl makes a break for it, sprinting and tackling the psycho girl with the sword in her mouth. Absolutely fearless. Let's not forget about our boy Gammon, still stuck on the roof, feeling totally frustrated and helpless. He's hearing that his friends are getting picked off one by one, and he hasn't heard from Jaiwoo or June. The anxiety is real, and the situation downstairs just got 100 times worse. The orange-haired girl, Jaiwoo, has been taken hostage by the guy with a knife. Her friends can only watch in horror as chaos erupts. Gammon sees it all from the rooftop, absolutely desperate. I have to stop them, but how? And just when all hope seems lost, a giant foot stomps down out of nowhere, pinning the bad guy's hand. The cavalry has arrived. Switching scenes, we see Sunchul apparently trying to turn himself into the police, but his so-called allies aren't having it. They're grabbing him, stopping him. Clearly, there's more to this story, and the crime is murder. Sunchul is confessing that he killed someone during a fight and is turning himself in, but the whole confession feels staged and suspicious. Exactly. His friends are already picking apart the story. The victim was only stabbed once, a clean wound. Not typical for a heat-of-the-moment killing. Something is definitely not right here. His friends try to talk some sense into him, but he's not listening. Emotions flare, and they start fighting, try to literally knock some sense back into him. They finally found him, and they are furious and worried, demanding to know why he disappeared on them. They were going crazy looking for him, but Sunchul seems to be carrying a heavy burden. And finally, Sunchul breaks down. He confesses he was being targeted by the school's top bullies and was desperate to get money for his grandpa's hospital bills, even considering doing dirty work. The poor kid is at his breaking point. His friends go to the hospital to check on his grandfather, but they find him looking surprisingly well, even studying for an English exam. This doesn't add up at all. The doctor reveals the heartbreaking truth. His grandfather isn't getting better. It's a terminal lucidity, a final burst of energy before death. It usually lasts a day or two, but his grandpa has been holding on for 6 months. This is absolutely devastating. It turns out the doctor told a white lie to Sunchul, not wanting to crush the hope of his grandfather, who studies passionately every night. He just couldn't extinguish that fire. Meanwhile, the masked man, the mastermind, seems to be using this passion to keep the old man alive for his own twisted plans. His friends refuse to give up on him, reminding Sunchul that his grandfather doesn't need him to be a great person, but he definitely can't be trash. At the same time, orders are given. If Sunchul resists, take him down with a taser. Even the detective is getting suspicious, questioning if Sunchul is the real culprit. Everyone is starting to realize that this is a setup, and Sunchul is just a pawn. And there it is. Sunchul is cornered by the real culprits. They mock his decision to take the fall and then brutally beat him down. These guys are the worst. But just in the nick of time, our boy Gammon arrives. He furiously screams, "Open," and busts through the door. His timing is impeccable. He's here to save the day. Han-kyung is also desperately searching for Gammon. She's running through the 3rd and 4th floors, finding nothing but chaos and downfighters. The aftermath of the earlier brawls is everywhere. But where is he? Finally, she gets a text. Gammon is stuck on a rooftop. At the same time, another fight is still raging, and one of the combatants is starting to feel a sharp pain with every move. This is not looking good. Jaiwoo is back at it again, showing off her incredible fighting skills. A perfect backflip into a series of kicks. She's taking down her opponent with style. The fangirling is real. She's so cool. The blonde dude she was fighting earlier is back on his feet, and they realize they've both been beaten by the same person twice. A common enemy makes for strange allies. He wants revenge. She needs help, so they team up and start running. Meanwhile, Gammon is going absolutely berserk. He grabs a guy by the hair and just slams him into the wall. He wasn't planning on getting this worked up, but they push him too far. This isn't a study group anymore. It's a war party. And the main villain, Jae-sung, is calmly dragging 2 students along, casually asking them, "You two really want to die, don't you?" The menace is off the charts. The blonde guy realizes his rib is broken. While he's wondering how to get Jaiwoo out of there, a miracle happens. Someone finds a bolt cutter in a cabinet and snips the chain on the door. It was Seon Ho Chai, the guy who maintains the building. What relief. Gammon finds a tool of his own. Since he used a tool last time, I'll use one this time. He's giving them a taste of their own medicine. Payback time. Glass shatters. A hand is holding. Is that a taser? As everyone freezes in shock, a familiar face appears, calling out, "Uncle." It's Gammon's tutor, his martial arts master uncle. He steps in, nunchucks in hand, and announces to everyone, "I'll take over from here." Now, that's an entrance. The real boss has arrived. Back with Gammon's friends, they're still trying to catch up. After a call, they finally get the rooftop door open with the bolt cutters, only to find out Gammon already jumped. These guys are ride or die for each other. Gammon is sprinting through the halls. and Hankyong is right behind him, calling his name. But our boy is in the zone, completely focused on the mission. He's not stopping for anything. Gammon's uncle holds the line, warning the rest of the crew about the heavy hitters they're up against, like Seon Ho Chai and Jae-sung Kim. He tells them to run if things get too dangerous. This guy is not just a fighter, he's a strategist. But there's no way the study group is backing down. They tell Gammon not to worry, because they're all in this together to help Sunchul. This isn't just his fight, it's theirs too. The team spirit is unbreakable. The low-level thugs are ironically commenting on the great connections they've made at Yusung High. Their boss, however, scoffs at the idea, thinking it's naive to band together just because they go to the same school. The goons are still laughing about Gammon being trapped on the roof, until they look down and see the snap chain and the bolt cutters. Their faces go from smug to terrified in a split second. And just then, a figure wielding nunchucks appears. It's Gammon. He borrowed the nunchucks from his uncle and is ready to put on a show. He moves like lightning, a whirlwind of motion. The villains are stunned, like, wait, is Four Eyes using nunchucks? Facing a guy with a blade, Gammon doesn't even flinch. He swings his nunchucks, and the clash of metal rings through the air. The sparks fly. This is epic. The battle is absolutely intense. Gammon is a master with those things, every swing precise and powerful. He's completely overwhelming his opponents, leaving them no room to even breathe. The enemies are getting hammered, crying out in pain. They can't comprehend how a pair of nunchucks can be so devastatingly strong. Gammon, our boy, is full of surprises. With one powerful strike, Gammon sends a dude flying, crashing hard onto the ground. The power, the technique, this is a completely different level of fighting. In no time, the entire area is littered with defeated thugs. Everyone is in awe of Gammon's power. They just can't believe this kid with glasses did all this damage with just a pair of nunchucks. He's insane. Gammon, holding the evidence that proves Sunchul's innocence, finally confronts Jae-sung. Hankyong yells his name from behind, full of emotion. This is it. The final showdown is about to begin. But the fight took its toll. Gammon collapses from exhaustion, and the nunchucks fall from his hand. Jae-sung walks over, mocking him. You guys really think you can save Sunchul Kim? He picks up the weapon and is shocked by its weight. So that's the secret to their power. Jae-sung tries to show off, claiming he used to play with nunchucks too. But Gammon points out that's just a cheap $10 aluminum toy. The one he's holding is custom-made for destruction. Just then, they see the iron door that Gammon broke down with sheer force earlier. Everyone is completely stunned. That kind of destructive power, it's not human. Elsewhere, a ridiculously muscular dude hears the news that a white lead gang scout was beaten by a high schooler. His reaction goes from disbelief to roaring laughter. It seems Gammon's performance has attracted some unwanted attention. The story of Four Eyes taking down a gang scout starts to spread. Everyone is shook by Gammon's fighting prowess. The quiet model student who just wanted to study has accidentally become a legend at Yusung High. Back at the school, Gammon's friend Seon Ho Chai has been taken down by Jae-sung. With the situation seemingly under his control, Jae-sung claps his hands as if he's figured something out. The muscle-bound dude from before arrives on the scene, declaring he used to be a monster too, and it's time for some real combat. Meanwhile, Jaewa points at Jae-sung, furiously accusing him of being a sex offender and screaming kill him. Gammon's friend, the one who uses a pipe like a whip, strikes first against the muscle man. The weapon whistles through the air. The fight is on, but the muscle dude is on another level. He tanks the hit and retaliates with a punch that sends his opponent stumbling back. His raw power is terrifying. The muscle man's combo is flawless, fast, precise, and brutal, ending in a perfect grapple. It landed perfectly, he thinks, while his own allies look on with concern. The fight gets dirty, with flower pots and bricks being used as weapons. Gammon's friend is getting absolutely pummeled, completely on the defensive. This guy is reveling in the thrill of the fight. For him, this kind of excitement is something you can't feel from anything else in the world. He's a true battle junkie. After knocking out his opponent, the muscle man laughs maniacally, taunting the others. Now that your savior is down, what will you do? The blonde guy grits his teeth, deciding to grab the evidence and retreat. Jae-woo is injured, struggling to even crawl. He takes everyone down, then reveals Jae-sung's master plan. Have Sunchul turn himself in, wait for a reduced sentence, then get him out. This guy isn't just brawn, he's got brains too. A truly dangerous opponent. But just then, Gammon steps up, nunchucks in hand. He stands ready to face the muscle man. He heard how strong this guy was, so he came prepared. It's time for the main event. Gammon attacks, but the muscle man dodges and counters, knocking him down with a single punch. You persistent brat. He scoffs. but he's severely underestimating our boy's determination. Gammon quickly recovers and launches an even more ferocious assault with his nunchucks. This time, the muscle man can't dodge, and he takes a solid hit. Gammon's attacks are relentless, like a storm. The muscle man is forced back, unable to keep up. This is the true power of our protagonist. The muscle man is completely enraged now. Is this F***er toying with me? He roars. He starts analyzing the nunchuck's movements, looking for their weakness, searching for an opening. He finds it, a tiny opening, and he throws a jab. But it seems Gammon might have anticipated it. From the sidelines, Jaiwoo and Hankyong watch, worried. Did he run out of strength? Of course not. Gammon unleashes his uncle's prohibited technique number 4, the 0-inch punch, an explosive burst of power at point-blank range that sent the muscle man flying. That was sick. After the fight, Gammon reflects on how he just wants to study, but is constantly ridiculed for it. In this dog-eat-dog school for future criminals, his dream of going to college makes him a total outcast. Jae-sung watches everything unfold, his expression grim. His perfectly crafted plan has been completely shattered by this nerd who just wanted to study. Gammon's reputation is now legendary. The thugs who fought him before now tremble at the mere mention of his name. The stories of him defeating Jae-sung and crushing Seonho have become the stuff of myth at Yusung High. Gammon tells Sunchul to hurry back and start studying for midterms. Sunchul is just stunned. He's lived his whole life using violence to prove his worth. The idea of using his brain is completely foreign to him. Gammon kneels, tormented by his past. He remembers being forced into a gang, using his strength to maintain the school's twisted hierarchy. He questions if someone like him can ever go back to being a normal student. And just then the muscle man comes charging back, weapon in hand. Gammon is completely spent, without the strength to even stand up. He knows he can't fight anymore, but his friends refuse to give up, placing themselves between him and the danger. Jawa points at the muscle man, telling him he has to pay not just for this, but for all his past crimes too. She's not letting him get away with anything. And then she delivers the ultimate punishment, a swift, brutal kick, right where it hurts the most. The muscle man goes down instantly. You love to see it. Her friends are just staring in shocked silence. The red-haired member of the study group follows up, tackling the still-recovering muscle man and sending him crashing to the ground again. Teamwork makes the dream work. Jaiwoo tells the blonde guy that if his dream is to be a teacher, then being nosy is a must-have skill. Her words seem to strike a chord with him, giving him a new sense of purpose. She keeps spitting facts, telling Sunchul not to care what others think about him studying, because people don't care about you as much as you think. The only time you should care is when you're doing bad things. She's on fire. After the battle, Gammon's friends carry their injured teammate, heading for the hospital. The bond they share goes way beyond just being classmates. Jae-sung, his goal achieved, gets in his car to leave. Meanwhile, Gammon is left to wonder if this is really the end of it all. The study group now has the key evidence, the knife. They discuss how to handle it to make sure Sunchul's fingerprints aren't on it. But just then, a group of men in black suits appears before them. The police arrive and arrest the masked Sunchul on suspicion of murder. But his friends scream that he isn't the culprit, that the evidence will become his despair. Gammon watches shocked as they take him away. Gammon seeks out Detective Tae-man-na, a man known as the rebel of the Central Police Station. He seems to be the only one they can trust. But in the shadows, a plot is brewing to attack the detective if he's ever alone. Gammon meets his uncle outside the station. The uncle jokes he's here to pick up a textbook, while Gammon is here to accept a confession. This guy's sense of humor is something else. It turns out the textbook was actually Gammon's pink study notebook. When Detective Na sees the name on it, freshman class 4, Yoon Gammon, he looks completely shocked. It seems he's finally putting the pieces together. And just as Detective Na is putting the pieces together, we're thrown into this intense flashback. An old geezer is yelling at this kid, calling him the culprit and a coward. Before the kid can even respond, wham, he gets clocked from the side. Brutal. Turns out this whole mess started with a staged accident. Our boy's uncle bumps into Detective Na, using it as an excuse to drop a bombshell. Sunchul Kim is the killer. But look at the detective's face. He's not buying it for a second, accusing them of using kids to frame people. The detective immediately calls their bluff. You got any proof? Of course, they don't. They just spin a story about how the evidence points to a rival gang member, but the real beneficiary? Detective Na himself. A classic frame-up job, and they're trying to pin it all on him. But Detective Na isn't one to sit still. He's already on the move, getting intel over the phone. They've located the suspect, Song Won Chu's office on the 4th floor, but damn it, they're one step behind. Chu already bolted. And Detective Na is pissed. He swears this time is different. He's going to show these pieces of trash who think they can get away with anything just because they have connections what real justice looks like. So he confronts Song Wong Chu directly, decking him with a solid punch and telling him to spill the truth while he's still asking nicely. Meanwhile, Gammon's uncle is just standing there with the study notebook, probably thinking what a mess. Flashback over, back to the present. Gammon's uncle tries to hand him the answer, but in a shocking turn of events, he pushes him right into the path of an oncoming car. The crash is insane, and everyone is left stunned. Okay, seems like the timeline jumped a bit. Gammon is on the ground, but apparently fine. His friends are like, how did you do that? You just saw an opening? This isn't Dragon Ball Z. In the chaos, his phone drops, and someone picks it up right as a call is coming in. So it turns out the car crash was another setup, an attempt to frame Sunchul. But Detective Na, being the badass he is, uses Song Wong Chu's phone as evidence to confront the dirty cops on the scene. Look at their faces, they're completely cornered. Gammon's uncle warns him to stay out of it, reminding him that sometimes things are just out of his control. Little do they know, the real villains are already making their move, likely surrounding Sunchul Kim as they speak. And just as predicted, Sunchul is ambushed. The study group jumps in to protect him, turning the street into an all-out brawl. It's absolute chaos, and their only way out is to make a break for the police station. If they can get there, it's all over. His buddy yells from behind, "We'll stop making fun of you for carrying those lame flashcards. Just don't give up, you idiot." And then, bam, they both get slammed by a car. That impact looks absolutely brutal. In a life or death moment, a voice asks him, "You can escape. Is it that easy to give up on your life?" Those words hit him hard, forcing a difficult choice. The enemy is right there. They know if Sunchul makes it to the station as a witness, they're done for. But in this critical moment, Gammon steps up, telling Sunchul, "Don't worry. Our boy's about to do something crazy." With a determined look in his eyes and fists clenched, he declares, "I won't give up on him easily." His resolve is palpable, cutting through the smoke and tension. We find out later that thankfully, the taser was a little off target. But even so, Sunchul took a nasty hit. Detective Nye uses this moment, presenting the phone as irrefutable evidence, and the mustache detective is completely rattled. He knows he's caught. With the incident seemingly resolved, it's getting late. Gammon heads back to school, but a new worry creeps in, Ms. Lee's safety. She's involved in this mess too, and he can't shake the feeling that she might be in danger. And speak of the devil, Gammon runs right into Ms. Lee in the hallway. Look at his face, he is completely shocked to see her here. Meanwhile, she looks thrilled, practically begging with her eyes, "Invite me to the study group already." The next day, over at Incheon Hospital, Sahayan gets a text from June, saying he got injured on a mission and is staying the night. Considering Sahayan is currently crashing at June's place after running away from home, he's obviously worried sick and rushes over. As soon as he arrives, he sees the rest of the study group heading to visit the injured grandpa. Turns out, Jaewoo had contacted them, saying he almost got a concussion after taking a fall during a fight. Inside the hospital room, the patient is bragging about pulling off a killer backflip, only to get roasted by his friend for having feet that smell like chili paste. These guys are cracking jokes, even in the hospital. Never a dull moment. Meanwhile, Gammon's teacher, Ms. Han-Kyung Lee, has to temporarily move in with him due to some family trouble. Gammon's mom tasked him with taking care of her, especially since it's final season. You know, high schoolers need their support system. Ms. Lee offers to cook pasta for dinner, but Gammon immediately gets suspicious, asking what she was up to yesterday. She casually says she was studying, and Gammon gives her this guilty look before bolting, leaving her totally confused. He definitely knows something. Gammon can't shake the feeling that something's fishy. He knows she's hiding something. As the clock ticks away, the tension in the room starts to build. He pulls out his language arts textbook, finally relieved to have it back with all his precious notes. Still, he can't figure out how it ended up with Song Wong Chu in the first place. But one thing's for sure, that guy needs to pay for what he did. Cutting over to Detective Na, he's reassuring Gammon's uncle, telling him not to worry and that he'll handle it from here. He even playfully calls him brat. It's a tense situation, but you can see the trust between them. Detective Na figures a kid with Gammon's fighting skills will be perfect as a cop, so he asks about his dream. Gammon's answer completely surprises him. "I want to go to college." The detective just laughs, saying he never took him for the rebellious type. For Gammon, getting into college has been his one and only dream since he was a kid. Just as he's lost in thought, he notices Ms. Lee has been eavesdropping the whole time. She's startled, and things get awkward real fast. Ms. Lee awkwardly comes in, and they start reminiscing about when he used to tutor her. Gammon sighs, saying that even though he's only been a teacher for a month, he already feels like he's been through the ringer. The life of a study group leader is tough. Gammon then asks Ms. Lee for advice about dreams, calling them a dilemma that tortures people their whole lives. This sparks a deep conversation, with her questioning whether being a college student is an identity or a profession. The conversation gets pretty philosophical, touching on Ms. Lee's personality and why jobs like doctor or chef aren't just simple dreams. But their deep talk is interrupted by a weird smell from the kitchen. Looks like Ms. Lee's cooking skills might be questionable. With a plate of pasta, Ms. Lee serves up some wisdom. She explains that a dream isn't about what you become, but what kind of person you want to be. It's not about being a teacher, but about being a certain kind of teacher. And that just clicked for Gammon. What kind of student do you want to be? The question hits Gammon like a bolt of lightning. The camera flashes around him suggest that this is a pivotal moment, and the world is waiting for his answer. He gets flustered when asked about his father's legacy. But later, while eating with Ms. Lee, he finally figures it out. His goal wasn't just to get into college. He wants to become a teacher who can guide lost kids and show them the way. Ms. Lee is so moved by Gammon's newfound dream that she playfully throws a punch at him, which he barely dodges. You can tell she's genuinely happy that he's found his calling. The support is real. After dinner and dishes, Gammon is fired up and ready to hit the books again. He also encourages Ms. Lee, reminding her to keep her grades up for her special application. They're both motivating each other to chase their dreams. Teamwork. Midterm season has officially arrived at Yusung Tech. For our study group, this fight isn't about power or warring with criminals. This is a battle for their future. Meanwhile, the study group is still piecing together the case. They wonder how Dachel was so sure about Song Won Chu being the culprit. Turns out, he has a trustworthy source connected to an old photograph. The plot thickens, and that source points to a man named Gunya Park, standing alone on a pier at sunset. His silhouette is both lonely and mysterious. This guy definitely has a story. Time passes, and eventually, Gunyeb is summoned by someone named Hanwol. You just know a new storm is brewing. For our boy Gaiman, his real challenge is about to begin. And from the looks of it, a massive confrontation is imminent. And of course, Gammon is surrounded by a massive mob again. At the school of future criminals, the fighting never stops. Look at the rage on his face. He's ready to throw down. It's the last day of midterms. The easy days are over. The members of the study group are steeling themselves, ready to give it their all until the very end. The exam room is a circus. You've got students who think it's so easy they want to leave early, others who couldn't care less, and some who are absolutely losing their minds over the questions. Just another day at Yusung Tech. But Gammon knows this opponent isn't an easy one. With Ms. Lee supervising, the classroom is dead silent. The tension is so thick you could cut it with a knife. The second the exam ends, the classroom erupts. Everyone is screaming at each other over whether the answer to question 9 was 1 or 3. Meanwhile, Gammon calmly realizes that both options were intentionally confusing. It was a trick question. After the test, the crew chats about Sunchul studying in the hospital, calling him a superhuman for surviving a stun gun. Suddenly, Gammon spots someone running towards them. It's Jaiwoo, yelling for them to wait up so they can go together. The energy is real. In a parallel storyline, Jaiwoo's grandpa is in critical condition. The doctors say he might not make it through the afternoon. But the old man is determined to take his TOEIC exam, and nothing is going to stop him. Gammon is completely shocked by the news. The grandpa, with incredible strength, literally fights his way out of the hospital to get to the exam. His determination is both admirable and heartbreaking. Meanwhile, Sunchul seems to be in his own tough spot, hesitating as he faces a hostile crowd. People are yelling at him to keep his eyes open, reminding him that today is the day he's endured everything for. It's revealed that Sunchul was betrayed by his own crew. He was set up to be the fall guy, and now they have the audacity to blame him for endangering everyone. The rage is boiling over, and he's about to explode. Desperate to see his dying grandfather, Sunchul fights through the crowd, trying to hold him back. Back in a hospital room, his grandpa is on an oxygen mask, barely hanging on. The doctors are frantically waiting for Sunchul, saying his grandpa is running out of time. But the old man, ever defiant, mutters, "I'm still alive." At the same time, the announcement for the afternoon exam begins. The old man is filled with regret. He feels like he's studied his whole life, but will have to leave without ever getting to show what he's learned. What a pity, he thinks. Sunchul finally makes it. He rushes to the bedside, desperately asking, "You're fine, right?" With his last ounce of strength, the old man manages to respond. Back on the streets, the fight has taken its toll. Gammon is exhausted and injured, but he's still smiling, joking that if he wasn't hurt, he would have finished them off easily. That's our boy's spirit. The hospital corridor descends into chaos. People are panicking, someone is trying to get everyone to be quiet, and Sunchal's name is being screamed. The frantic energy suggests something terrible is about to happen. Sunchal is sprinting down the hall when he runs into two guys. He screams for his grandpa not to open the door, but it's too late. With a loud wham, the door bursts open. Inside the room, a man in sunglasses is casually discussing business figures, completely unfazed by the chaos outside. This guy's cold demeanor screams villain. It turns out this was all part of the deal. Someone asked Ms. Lee for a favor, on the condition that she would destroy everything. And she agreed without hesitation, excitedly promising to get the job done. What on earth is she planning? At the bedside, the old man is still writing. He knows this exam won't be officially recognized, but he believes the only way for a person to grow their worth is to keep learning. Watching him, Sunchal is overcome with emotion, tears streaming down his face. In the end, his grandfather passes away. At the funeral, Sunchal is heartbroken, but the callousness of the suits in the background, talking about getting noodles, is just infuriating. The contrast is jarring. After everything he's been through, Sunchal decides to join the study group. Here, in the school of future criminals, they found each other in a new sense of hope. 2 months later, in an abandoned warehouse, a long-haired man is screaming at Gunya Park, demanding to know why he's being targeted. It looks like a new story of revenge is about to unfold. The long-haired man declares his next move isn't about power or fighting criminals. This is personal revenge. He's going to make the person who stole something precious from him feel the exact same despair. The vibe in the warehouse is tense. Someone calls Gunyeb Park the busiest guy in school, while another recognizes him as the rebel. It's revealed that Park has been secretly investigating a random murder case, and the trail leads to the White Lead Gang and Hanwell. Back in the present, Gammon is, of course, in trouble again. A couple of thugs corner him, demanding to know who the hell he is. A new fight is about to break out. The newcomers are from the White Lead Gang, and they mean business. But before they can make a move, a mysterious masked figure appears. He seems to know them and gets weirdly excited about being recognized. This dude is a total freak. The masked man starts by mocking the other guy's trench coat, which immediately pisses him off. A fight breaks out instantly, and damn, this mystery guy has moves. He's flowing through the combat like water. This guy's observation skills are off the charts. He claims he can detect even the smallest movements, reading his opponent from feet to legs, waist to shoulders. He perfectly predicts a left-handed counterpunch and meets it head-on. But he did not see this coming. The other guy grabs a freaking fluorescent light bulb and smashes it over him. The surprise attack leaves him completely stunned. It was all a feint, a fake move designed to counter the counter to his counter. This is some next-level psychological warfare. While he's reeling, the other guy pulls out his phone and starts scrolling. What is he looking for? The masked man takes down his opponent and says coolly, "It's obvious from your face." It seems he's seen through this guy's plan from the very beginning. Plot twist. This masked man is actually a spy working for Gunyeb Park. He certainly made an impactful first appearance. He has no pity for these guys, calling them trash that doesn't deserve mercy. Meanwhile, the study group is strategizing. They figure the only way to get an opening is to target the family-level members of the White Lead Gang. The only minors they know at that rank are the White Lead Quartet, and with the others missing, that only leaves Min Wan Ma. Someone suggests targeting Min Wan, but another member reminds them that Min Wan actually stood with them during the last assembly. Just then, they see Gammon quietly sweeping, and a friend jokes that one of the guys is jealous because Gammon effortlessly achieved his lifelong dream, starting a study group. While Gammon is sweeping, a teacher questions him. But then, the chief administrator of the entire school walks out of the building. The teacher freaks out and makes a run for it, complaining that he should have been warned. This administrator is the same guy from before, the one who betrayed his crew. He warns Gammon, the inspector's son, that it's not a good look for them to be seen together. Then he cuts to the chase. "Why did you call me here?" The administrator is internally panicking, wondering if Gammon is about to blackmail him again. But Gammon, with a completely straight face, says, "Try barking for me, sir." The sheer audacity of that line completely shatters the guy's composure. Gammon calls out the administrator's bluff. He knows that all the teachers are secretly connected to the White Lead Gang, and this guy right here was the one who threatened them all into silence. He furiously questions him. Why was Hamill investigated? Why was there recruitment corruption? And why wouldn't a single teacher cooperate with the police? He lays all the blame on the administrator's cowardice and selfishness. Gammon pulls out the principal's phone and demands the administrator unlock it. He's done wasting time. He needs to find the evidence now. But just then, the construction site they're on begins to collapse. The massive crash and clouds of dust send everyone into a panic. New character alert. This kid in a cap is terrorizing Kong San's song, a punk from Gwanghwa High with a toy gun. He's just laughing at him, calling him lame for not even being able to tell it's fake. This kid introduces himself as Min Won-ma, number 2 of the Yusung High White Lead Quartet. He gets his kicks from beating up bullies, acting like he's some kind of hero. Min Won and Kong San start fighting, and despite his size, Min Won is incredibly agile. He's running circles around the big guy, completely playing with his opponent. After getting caught by a surprise attack, Kong San gets up, absolutely furious and ready to end it. But Min Won is one step ahead, swinging his weapon with full force. Min Won shows off his custom-made bullets, smiling as he asks if they hurt. He loves the feeling of sniping from a distance, of being in total control. The way he orders Kong San to lower his eyes is pure intimidation. Turns out Min Won is an information broker whose clients are mostly bullying victims. He doesn't take money for his services. He does it just for fun. He exposed a professor for having an affair with a student, calling the whole situation disgusting. This guy's moral compass is seriously warped. He even sold out his own father and can laugh about it. This kid has no limits. When Kong San asks how he got a certain photo, Min Won just laughs and calls him a cute little bastard. The disrespect is insane. The incident clearly traumatized Kong San. Meanwhile, Min Won is in the bathroom, basking in the attention of his followers like he's some kind of celebrity. The contrast is sickening. Gunya Park spy finds Min Won and give him a reality check. We're waging war with the devil. Get it together. Min Won takes on another case. He's standing on some thug outside a middle school, live streaming as he exposes the guy's heroic deeds of ambushing villains at a shooting range. The crowd is eating it up, calling the guy a hypocrite. He sees himself at the top of the school's food chain, viewing everyone else as his personal playthings. Meanwhile, back at the collapsed construction site, someone approaches Park's men, looking to hire them for a job. A client meets Min Won in a secluded spot. The guy holds a grudge, thinking Min Won sees him as a loser. But Min Won just smiles, saying he remembers all his clients because they're his precious toys, before easily taking him down. And then, out of nowhere, Gammon drops in. He snatches something from Min Won, triggering an explosion. The sudden chaos leaves everyone completely stunned. Jaiwoo sends an enemy flying with a single punch, while Gammon gets hit by falling bricks. But our boy just shakes it off and gets back up like it's nothing. He is built different. Min Won uses the chaos to escape. He's throwing everything he can find to slow down his pursuers. Gammon and the crew chase him through the smoke, determined to catch this slippery bastard. Over at the construction site, 2 workers are talking about a support pillar. They mention that this one pillar is holding up the entire upper floor. If anyone messes with it, the whole place will come crashing down. And it seems Min Won already knew that. He'd written a note asking, will it fall right away, believing that the one with the best preparation wins. He's found Gammon, and the final showdown is about to begin. The site starts to collapse, with metal pipes and machinery flying everywhere. Gammon is blinded by the dust and debris, and his first thought is to get out of there fast. Min Won hides behind a pillar, taunting Gammon that he's only hurting himself now. He's holding a gun, creating a tense standoff. It's clear now, this was his trap all along. While our boy Gammon is trapped in a collapsing death trap, let's cut back to the school. On the surface, it's just another night. The teachers at Yusung High are casually dealing with grades in the office, completely oblivious to the storm brewing right under their noses. One of the teachers is telling a wild story about how she almost brained a student, Gunyeb Park, with a bottle. And get this, he's the son of the inspector from the Board of Education. Look at her colleague. He's so shocked he chokes on his water. Yeah, this isn't just some random punk. He's got connections. She can't shake this ominous feeling, like she's missing a crucial piece of the puzzle. Meanwhile, in another part of the school, other teachers are gossiping about Mrs. O, whose husband is an inspector and whose son, Noah, is about to come to Korea. All these seemingly random conversations feel weirdly connected. And just like that, we flash back to the incident she was talking about. A mysterious guy in a cap and mask is pointing a gun straight at Gunyeb Park. The tension is insane. You could cut it with a knife. Turns out it's Min Won. He calls Gunyeb out by name and then just unleashes on him with a vicious kick. This dude is a certified psycho, going all out from the get-go. Min Won doesn't just fight. He mentally tortures his opponent, bringing up Gunyeb's deceased mother just to get under his skin. Look at that smug, evil grin. He's holding the gun, just playing with his prey. Shut your damn mouth. And there it is. Gunyeb is completely triggered. He loses all control and lunges forward like a wild animal. His own friend tries to stop him, but it's no use. This is exactly what Minwon wanted. Yep, it's confirmed. Any mention of his mom and Gunyeb goes berserk. His attacks are pure, unrestrained rage, completely devoid of technique, which just leaves him wide open. Minwon effortlessly dodges every attack, all while continuing his trash talk. It's ridiculous how you came here to fight me with this kind of skill. Did you think I was on the same level as those banished losers? This guy's mouth is as deadly as his fists. He goes on, explaining that the kids from high-ranking white lead gang families have a different level of experience, both in quality and quantity. Meanwhile, his own crew notices something's off. There's something different about Minwon today. Suddenly, the tall guy explodes, pointing at the bald dude and screaming, "I knew that you were a mole. Looks like we got some infighting." But Minwon? He just smirks, a calculated look in his eyes, as if this was all part of his grand plan. All right, flashback over. Let's get back to the present, back to Gammon versus Minwon at the construction site. The place is crashing down around them as our boy relentlessly chases after him, yelling, "Seems like you're pulling some tricks because you can't fight." Gammon is incredibly agile, weaving through the chaos. He's confident that as long as he keeps moving, he can't be hit. But Minwon anticipated his path, swinging a massive pipe right where he knew Gammon would be. Whack! Wait, that's not just a pipe, he's got a gun. He kicks Gammon away, a look of pure ecstasy on his face as he screams, "Deliciously spicy." This dude has completely lost his mind. Gammon is knocked back, and Minwon presses his advantage. It's like violence comes as naturally to him as breathing. He chases our boy all the way to the top of the building. Now, they're on the open rooftop. Minwon thinks he's got him cornered, that Gammon is just relying on his weapon. But he's dead wrong. Look at that sly look in our boy's eyes. He let Minwon chase him up here on purpose. Minwon looks completely stunned. He has no idea what's happening. The metal pipes around them suddenly start clanging together, and it's definitely not an accident. You won't even be able to run now. Minwon gloats, blocking the stairs, thinking he's won. But our boy just smiles. With a massive splash, the machinery around them explodes. This was Gammon's real trap all along. What was that just now? Minwon is in disbelief. Gammon finally reveals his master plan. "I have to deal with all of you in order to put pressure on Hanwol. I had to make you let your guard down against me." Turns out, our boy was playing 4D chess from the very beginning. And he explains how it all started a week ago. Gammon's been making preparations in secret this whole time. Even wearing that Yusung Hai uniform, which always looked like it didn't fit him, was all part of the plan. The key to his plan? That guy who was mentioned earlier, Noah, the bare-knuckle fighter. It seems Gammon has called in some heavy-duty backup. The real show is just getting started. So, what exactly is bare-knuckle fighting? Let's get a quick rundown. It's raw, it's brutal, no gloves, and the fight doesn't stop until there's a KO. The techniques are perfect for street fights, making it dangerously effective in a place like Yusung Hai. Back in the fight, Gammon disassembles the gun, ready to go hand-to-hand. Minwon's punch comes in with terrifying force. Gammon barely blocks it with the butt of the gun. He's so strong. Even our boy has to admit, if he hadn't blocked that, he'd be done for. Minwon's punches aren't just heavy, they're well-trained. And what's worse, he's got brass knuckles. Come on, dude, that's practically cheating. And there's the kick, sending our boy flying into a wall with a sickening thud. That had to hurt. The scene then cuts to an airport. Looks like Noah's arrival is imminent. Another flashback reveals just how desperate Noah was to learn bare-knuckle fighting, begging his uncle's friend to teach him. He knew he'd get hurt badly, but he was determined. This guy is a real deal. Noah's fighting philosophy is simple. I've nothing else to lose. When you fight with that kind of mindset, you become incredibly dangerous. The style he's learning incorporates elements of Eastern martial arts, like the vertical fist from Wing Chun, which is perfect for breaking through an opponent's guard. Even Mike Tyson used it. Back to Gammon's fight, and it seems he knows a similar technique. He lands a clean American hook, catching Minwon completely off guard. Look at the shock on his face. He never saw that coming. Minwon is furious. He feels like he's been played. He thought he had everything figured out, but now he's realizing Gammon has been reading his every move. Meanwhile, the bald guy who was outed as a mole suddenly remembers something crucial and takes off running. Looks like that internal conflict is about to escalate. Turns out, Minwon had a whole crew waiting as backup, a meticulous plan. But now his guys are getting taken down one by one. His plan is completely falling apart. The bald dude joins the fray, taking on Minhwan's goons. So that's the situation. Gammon's allies are clearing out the minions so he can focus on the final boss. During the fight, Gammon has figured out Minhwan's weak spot, his right side. A solid hit there, and it's all over. But Minhwan knows his own weakness and is protecting it carefully. I should have ended you earlier. Gammon thinks, knowing Minwan will keep aiming for his weak spot. But he's using it to his advantage. When someone thinks they've attained victory, they're bound to let their guard down. Gammon intentionally leaves an opening. As expected, Minwan falls for it and goes in for the kill. In that split second, our boy seizes the opportunity. Seeing this unfold, the bald guy tearfully apologizes to Gunyeb, feeling responsible for this whole mess. And on the other side, the guy in the blue beanie makes up his mind, ready to jump in. So it was all a conspiracy against Minwan from the start. They plan to take him down right here, right now. Gammon's helper, the mysterious man in the cap, unleashes a powerful move, the tiger's fist. It lands a direct hit. This technique, the eye of the tiger, looks like a finishing move he's been saving. With a deafening crash, Minwan is sent flying, shattering the structures around him. The power of that single blow is absolutely devastating. After the battle, a bunch of weird supplies show up at school, all marked with the word rehabilitated. Turns out the bald guy, the former mole, bought all of it with the investigation budget. What on earth is he planning? He's starting a youth rehabilitation program with the slogan, "We can do it, Rehab Man." The goal is to stop the White League gang from recruiting more kids. A noble cause, but man, that slogan is cheesy as hell. The first recruit for this program is the blonde kid from before. He's determined to change himself, but when he sees the official equipment is a shovel, he's just speechless. Is this a rehab program or a manual labor sentence? Word of the rehab man even reaches the police station, and they are completely baffled. They have no clue what these high school kids are up to. But this seemingly silly slogan really resonates with our boy Gammon. He remembers his time in Chinatown, thinking the only way to change was to become stronger. Now he's found a new path, shouting, "We can do it," with all his heart. This is a cry of true conviction. Just then, another loud crash echoes through the school. The blonde kid follows the sound and stumbles upon an unexpected scene. On the rooftop, the big guy from before is being pinned down by a new face. The blonde kid recognizes him immediately and is shocked. It's Do-hun Young. What's he doing here? Talk about bad timing. Do-hun's target is Gunyeb Park. He's here to settle an old score. But then, our new student council president steps in and issues a challenge. Looks like another big fight is unavoidable. And the blonde girl on the student council side is no pushover either. She unleashes a flying kick, using her family's signature tiger's fist. She's got the skills to back it up. The blonde kid joins the fight as well, launching his own attack. It's official. The student council is going to war with this new crew. But this new group is insanely strong. The blonde kid's broken rib is acting up, making things even worse. And his opponent also uses the tiger's fist. Looks like we've got a showdown between fellow disciples. Gammon teams up with the student council president, Kim Sunchul, to fight. Gammon is blown away by his strength. Sunchul's fighting style is a complete mismatch with his usually calm demeanor. The battle is intense. The gray-haired kid watches from the side, filled with regret, feeling like he should have created a better situation for his friends. Everyone is giving it their all. Our boy Gammon is filled with frustration. He feels like he couldn't even handle Minwan on his own, and now he's getting help from someone else again. This feeling of powerlessness is driving him crazy. Suddenly, a phone starts ringing. The caller ID says ANTI. It's the enemy's phone. The blonde kid picks it up in the middle of the fight. This unexpected discovery could be the key to turning the tables. The message on the phone is a bombshell. Minwan is in trouble, and someone named Sivan Chun is on his way. And Sivan is none other than the son of the White League gang's boss, a total monster. The blonde kid confronts the enemy, calling him out for being Hanwell's lackey. But he just responds coldly, "I don't need those silly things." This guy clearly has his own agenda. He asks the blonde kid to take him with him, instead of abandoning him in Chinatown. It seems they share a complicated past, but words fail, and the fight reignites. The enemy unleashes a forbidden technique taught by his master. Number 1, the fuse. In an instant, the blonde kid is completely subdued. That move is totally overpowered. And the approaching Sivan Chun? He's only 17, but he's the heir to the White League gang. He skipped class just to come and play with you. The real final boss is about to make his entrance. After the fight, the loser is left unable to move on the ground. The victor simply states it's kung fu, spoken with the calm confidence of the truly powerful. The blonde kid recalls the tiger's fist he learned back in Chinatown. The explosive power of that technique still sends a shiver down his spine. The world of kung fu is far deeper than he ever imagined. Sivan Chun's underlings start cleaning up the scene, mocking Gunyeb Park. How pitiful. He's stuck here before he dies. Sivan himself seems completely unfazed, acting like his opponents pose no threat at all. He casually tells his crew it's time to go, saying Hamill has prepared something fun for them. Before Gunyub leaves, the blonde kid quietly warns him that Song Wong Chu was the one who killed Dachel, telling him to be careful. In such a brutal world, this small act of camaraderie is incredibly precious. Meanwhile, Gammon seems to be haunted by thoughts of revenge, with visions of Noah flashing in his mind. He rushes up the stairs, completely ignoring a teacher trying to stop him. It turns out this was all a setup. Someone intentionally leaked the secret that Gunyeb was the student council's lackey. In the bathroom, Sunchul finds him. Seeing his bleeding hand, he doesn't scold him, but instead smiles and says, "You went as far as breaking a door to reach out to me. Don't worry. This president is something else." Scene change. The exam results are out. Our boy Gammon placed 199th out of 220, moving up 18 spots. He's still near the bottom, but look how thrilled he is. The pure joy of a struggling student. The rest of his study group improved too. Hard work pays off. Gammon remembers his vow to get first place. The result is a bit of a reality check, but he realizes how much fun he had studying with everyone. That's a kind of pure happiness he can't get from fighting. Meanwhile, the true academic god, the guy who's always ranked number one, looks at his own report card in the teacher's lab with absolute terror. Why would the top student be so scared? Something shady is definitely going on here. The study group is celebrating. Someone proposes a deal. If their group takes first place in the midterms, they'll push the disciplinary committee to take action against Hamel Pie. They're trying to trade grades for justice. The vice principal agrees to this plan. He believes that to get rid of the bad apples in the school, they have to be prepared to suffer. This is a high-stakes gamble, but it's not that simple. The proposal needs approval from 2 of 3 key people: the principal, vice principal, and department head. The female teacher thought her plan was foolproof, but she seems to have overlooked a crucial detail in the school rules. It turns out there's a loophole. It's also possible to get special approval from the student council president. Upon hearing this, everyone springs into action, rushing to find Sunchul. However, when they arrive at the student council room, they're met with a horrifying sight. The entire student council has been taken down. The room is a total wreck. Something terrible has happened to Sunchul. Gammon looks seriously ticked off. Then, a new face with white hair appears. He seems to know Gammon and asks if he's looking for someone. This guy, he's probably the new student council president. And, no surprise, the new student council president is none other than the white lead gang's heir, Sivan Chun. Look at this display of power. All the students are completely subservient to him. He's even using the fact that the former president joined the study group as a point of ridicule. These traitors, so shameless. The study group members are all worried sick for Gammon. But look at our boy. His eyes are filled with determination, his hands already in a fighting stance. He's about to take on the entire student council by himself. Cutting over to Chinatown, a gangster in sunglasses is hosting a mysterious woman. He's mocking his own men, calling them useless because none of them could even touch her. This woman is the master of the Wing Chun Dojo. She single-handedly took down every thug they sent at her. The gangster boss is super respectful, lamenting how hard it is to find decent fighters these days. This boss is Chun Duk Ma, a managing director of the White Lead Gang. He's here today to propose a partnership with the Wing Chun master. He presents a case full of cash as a gift and recalls a story from 7 years ago, when the White Lead Gang tried to take over Chinatown, but their martial arts experts were stopped by a single kid. And that kid was probably our boy Gammon. Back at school, the showdown between Gammon and Sivan Chun is about to begin. One of Sivan's lackeys scoffs. "Who the hell do you think you are?" Before he can finish, Gammon sends him flying with a single kick. Gammon's move is swift and decisive, taking down the guy in one hit, stunning everyone watching. That's the protagonist's aura for you. You just can't argue with it. The gangster, Chun Duk Ma, continues laying out his plan. With the Yakuza and triads expanding, the Korean underworld needs to grow, and for that, they need real fighters, not the flashy kind you see in movies. He has 2 prime candidates in mind: Minwon Ma, with his obsession for power, and Sivan Chun, a natural-born fighting prodigy. He believes if things go according to plan, these 2 will become the White Lead Gang's ultimate weapons. However, he's overlooking the biggest variable of all, Yoon Jae-min. Our boy is watching everything unfold with cold eyes, and he's the one person who can shatter all their plans. On the field, Gammon and Sivan finally face off. Everyone thinks Gammon is insane for challenging a monster like Sivan, but our boy shows no fear. But what's truly bizarre is that they stand there, facing each other for a full 15 minutes without making a single move. The onlookers go from tense to surprised to just plain confused. What on earth are they doing? Meanwhile, the female teacher is shocked to learn the student council president has been replaced. She can't believe the school administration would appoint a murder suspect to the position. When she hears Gammon is fighting the new president, she frantically calls his mom. On the other end, Gammon's mother sounds weak, like she's still in hospital. Gammon's mom talks about his grades, saying he must be frustrated that he didn't do well, but that he's still determined to study harder. Hearing this, the teacher falls silent. The standoff on the field continues. It's been 30 minutes now. The teachers are bored, and the students are starting to yawn. Only a true expert would understand that this is the prelude to a master's duel. They're observing each other's tiniest movements. This isn't a brawl. It's a battle of minds, like a chess match where every move is extremely calculated. Both are searching for an opening, waiting for the perfect moment to land a decisive blow. They're both in a state of extreme concentration, completely deaf to the noise around them. The silence is only broken by the sound of the teacher's approaching footsteps. The teacher runs onto the field, desperately looking for Gammon. Meanwhile, his friends are cheering him on, creating a truly hype atmosphere. The teacher tells Gammon's mom that his grades are out. His mom explains that she never nags him about grades on the days they're released because she knows how incredibly frustrated he gets. And at that very moment, Gammon is indeed consumed by self-doubt over his grades. Why am I so bad at studying? His mind screams. This obsession with academics is the root of all his actions. So, study with me. His anger and frustration finally explode into this one desperate plea. He's determined to use his fist to carve out a place where he can finally just study in peace. Look at the expression on our boy's face. It's a mix of despair over his grades and a burning desire to fight. This dream of becoming a top student is really putting him through the ringer. So what was all that screaming about? Flashback to the classroom, where our boy's new obsession began. The teacher straight up announces Gammon's goal. First place in class. The whole room erupts in laughter, but hey, they're clapping for him. It's a wholesome moment, but we all know that's not how things work at Yusung High. Because meanwhile, this is the reality of his school. A brutal throwdown is happening on the grounds. And look at that, one guy's even pulling out a weapon. The onlookers are getting hyped, screaming that a hit finally landed. This place is a war zone. But here's where it gets weird. The guy who just got tagged starts crying out Gammon's name. His opponent is completely thrown off, like, wait, are you seriously crying right now? The confusion is real. The fight doesn't stop for emotional breakdowns, though. The chaos just escalates with a massive high kick that sends someone flying. It's pure, unadulterated violence, with bodies and sound effects flying everywhere. The tough guy act is strong with this one, demanding to be called boss. But wait, is that a flashback? Someone questioning his strength? And, hold on, is he crying now? The tough guy is literally sniffling in the middle of the fight. His opponent is absolutely losing it. Why are you crying? He screams. And our crying boss is having a full-on breakdown over how weak he is. This is getting weird, and the attacker is getting seriously pissed. The student council guy has clearly had enough. He doesn't care about the tears. He's just going in. Fists and feet are flying, and the sound effects tell you everything you need to know about the brutality of this beatdown. The assault is relentless. Punch after punch connects, sending the guy stumbling back. He's completely outmatched, just getting ragdolled across the field. This is a one-sided beatdown. But just when you think it's over, the guy on the ropes suddenly calls out a move. Uncle's forbidden tactic, fourth move. Oh, looks like he's pulling out a secret weapon. Is this the comeback we've been waiting for? Whoa, a 0-inch punch? And it looks like it's from a Wing Chun school. The impact is insane, creating a literal shockwave that sends his opponent flying. Turns out this crying boss had an ace up his sleeve. And we cut to a flashback. Turns out he learned about this move the hard way. His master used this final strike on him, and he was so blown away he literally begged to be taught. But the master just shut him down, saying a kid who doesn't even know the basics isn't ready. Rough, but also kind of hilarious. The memory continues, with his master dropping some harsh truths. The strongest person becomes the boss, and no one messes with the boss. That's how you survive when you have nothing. These words clearly became his life's motto. Image data corrupted, skipping this frame. Let's move on. Back to the present. He's completely snapped. I have to be the strongest, he screams. There can't be anyone I can't defeat. I am first place. This obsession with being number one. Sound a lot like another guy we know, doesn't it? And speak of the devil. Here comes our boy Gammon. He bursts onto the scene using Master's forbidden tactic. First move, the fuse. Look at him go. The main character has entered the chat, and he's making an entrance. Gammon wastes no time, unleashing a devastating Wing Chun-style lariat that absolutely demolishes the boss, who was acting so tough just seconds ago. The guy didn't even have time to react. That's a one-hit KO right there. Pure, unadulterated badassery. But then we're hit with another harsh reality check. We're back in the classroom, and the teacher is announcing exam results. Some prodigy gets another perfect score, while our boy, Gamin Yun, comes in dead last. The contrast is just brutal. The ridicule from his classmates is immediate and harsh. After all his effort, this is the result he gets. Look at that pained and defiant expression on his face. It's heartbreaking. This academic dream of his is proving to be a tough road. Cutting back to the aftermath of the fight. The loser is on the ground, begging for it to stop. The crowd is silent. The winner has already been decided. Gammon proved, with his fists, who the real number one is. The defeated opponent is terrified, stammering that he could have died and admitting Gammon is stronger. At that moment, a familiar face, our girl Han-kyung, comes running onto the scene in a panic. Han-kyung immediately starts checking if Gammon's okay. But Gammon's mind is elsewhere, replaying the fight. He realizes he almost lost control and used the 10th move, the final forbidden tactic. He caught himself just in time, but it was a close call. Meanwhile, the mood is grim elsewhere. Gammon is down in the dumps over his test scores. And over in Chinatown, another key character, Sivan Chun, has also been completely destroyed in a fight and is hiding out. Looks like our boy isn't the only one having a bad day. Both of them are feeling like this is no different from before, as if all their efforts were for nothing. But on Gammon's phone, a message from Ms. Han-kyung offers a glimmer of hope, setting up their next study session. Her support is the one bright spot in all this. Gammon shows up at the study group's secret hideout, only to find the blonde kid, Sivan, already there. They're both completely surprised to see each other. At the same time, back in Chinatown, it seems some people are looking for Sivan. A new storm is definitely brewing. Image data corrupted, skipping this frame. Let's move on. New chapter, new problems. Ms. Lee, aka Han-kyung, wants to start a student council to bring some order to the school. A noble goal, but this is Yusung High we're talking about. Rules are more like suggestions here. And she's hitting roadblocks everywhere. The other teachers want nothing to do with it, basically telling her to find someone else to bother. Even her last hope, the current student council president Sunchul Kim, seems to be a dead end. Her plan is falling apart before it even begins. To make matters worse, the veteran teachers are starting to give her a hard time, not so subtly reminding her she's just a contract worker. They're telling her to keep her head down or risk getting fired. This is straight-up workplace politics. And here's the kicker. The problem student she's targeting, Han Pai, has a very powerful father who's a massive donor to the school. A colleague warns her that going after him is basically career suicide. Ms. Lee is in a seriously tough spot now. But it seems there might be a new lead. Someone mentions that the student, Sivan Chun, hasn't been coming to school recently. Could he be the key to solving this? Image data corrupted, skipping this frame. Let's move on. Meanwhile, the student council president, Sunchul Kim, is also making moves. He sent someone to find out where Sivan is, and the trail leads directly to Chinatown. It seems all roads are leading to the same place. On another front, a team led by the red-haired guy is mobilizing. They're calling themselves soldiers and are even deploying a drone for reconnaissance. This is starting to look like a full-blown operation. When they find out Ms. Han-kyung went to the dangerous Chinatown area all by herself, the squad doesn't hesitate. They hop on their bikes and speed off to provide backup. The rescue mission is on. Image data corrupted, skipping this frame. Let's move on. And just as they feared, Ms. Lee is already in trouble. She's been cornered by a group of thugs in Chinatown. They can tell she's not from around here, and they do not look friendly. She was trying to keep a low profile, but her identity as a teacher from Yusung High gets exposed. This just made things 10 times worse, since the Chinatown gangs and Yusung High have some serious bad blood. And so begins the chase. Ms. Lee and her companion are sprinting through the alleys with a whole mob of Yusung students hot on their heels. The situation is getting critical. Just in the nick of time, the drone comes in for a kamikaze attack, crashing right into one of the pursuers. Taking advantage of the chaos, the backup squad makes a dramatic entrance, leaping in for a surprise attack. Talk about perfect timing. The reinforcements finally arrive at the entrance to Chinatown. Looking at the familiar gate, they know what's coming. A huge battle is about to go down in a place that holds a lot of history for them. But they might be too late. They find Ms. Lee's dropped documents on the ground, because she and 2 other students have already been captured and tied up by the enemy. It turns out another gang from Chinatown is responsible. They've captured the Yusung students to try and force them to reveal the location of the Wing Chun Kwon. Looks like there's some intense internal conflict happening in Chinatown. Image data corrupted, skipping this frame. Let's move on. Image data corrupted, skipping this frame. Let's move on. Image data corrupted, skipping this frame. Let's move on. A new day begins with disaster as a massive fire breaks out in Chinatown. Amidst the chaos, people suspect it's arson. And right into this mess walk our boy Gammon and Sunchul. Before they can even figure out what's going on, they run into another crew, the gatekeeper from the Tiger Fist coin. This guy is not here to make friends. He's talking about coin breaking, and the tension immediately skyrockets. Apparently, there's a rule in Chinatown. If you want to see the master of a coin, you have to get through the gatekeeper first. This crew clearly thinks Gammon and his friends are here to throw down. Sunchul is about to step up, but our boy Gammon takes the lead, volunteering for the fight. The other side is just laughing. You're sending this nerdy guy to fight us? They are completely underestimating him. The Tiger Fist crew has some serious beef with Yusung High students, thinking they're just here to cause trouble. They don't waste any time with words. They just start swinging. But they picked the wrong nerd to mess with. As the opponent rushes in with a furious scream, Gammon calmly gets into a defensive stance. The fight is on, and the battle immediately heats up. Gammon and the Tiger Fist gatekeeper are trading blows, a flurry of kicks and punches. It's an intense back and forth. Little do they know, the master of the Tiger Fist coin is watching from the shadows. He's annoyed, thinking this is a completely unexpected situation with Yusung High kids walking right into his turf while his own boys are watching. The gatekeeper unleashes his signature move. The fierce tiger pushes the mountain. What a name! He rains down a series of powerful blows on Gammon like a storm. He's talking trash while he attacks, saying this isn't a place for scum like them to mess around. But Gammon takes every single hit and seems completely unfazed. The opponent is shocked by Gammon's insane durability. Seizing the opportunity, our boy grabs the guy's head, ready to turn the tables. It's time for the counterattack. Image data corrupted, skipping this frame. Let's move on. Image data corrupted, skipping this frame. Let's move on. And the counterattack begins. Gammon launches into the air with a beautiful spinning kick, sending his opponent crashing to the ground. That was just plain epic. Seeing their chance, Sunchul and the others yell for Gammon to get out of there. The Tiger Fist crew scrambles to their feet and gives chase. But our boy isn't running. He's unleashing another one of Uncle's forbidden tactics. It's a lightning-fast combo that leaves his opponents completely bewildered. The fifth move. This combo is so fast all you can see are after images. The enemy has no chance to even react before he's completely overwhelmed and taken down. Meanwhile, in another part of Chinatown, a man in a sharp suit is giving a lecture to a young kid about how to make it in their world. The politics in this place run deeper than we thought. This guy is the troubleshooter for the Whitehead gang. He's the one who has Hank Young and the students tied up, and he's just mocking them, calling all Yusung students failures. The intel squad launches an emergency evacuation operation. They never expected to get into this much trouble just for being associated with Yusung High. The rules of Chinatown are brutal. After defeating the gatekeeper, Gammon finally comes face-to-face with the master of the Tiger Fist coin. This old man has an incredibly intimidating aura. The real boss has finally appeared. The master is furious with his disciples, berating them for their shameful defeat. His presence alone is suffocating, and you can just feel the pressure. He goes as far as to kick both of them out of the coin, declaring them unworthy of learning his martial arts because they judge their opponent with prejudice. This master is seriously strict. Then, he turns his attention to Gammon, seemingly intrigued by this kid from Yusung High. He starts talking about how martial arts has always been a battle of denying and being denied, getting real philosophical here. The master's intensity grows as he tells Gammon that to get what you want, you have to pay a price. Then, he gets into a fighting stance. Looks like he's going to test our boy himself. His disciples are stunned, wondering why their master is taking a Yusung High student so seriously. But the fight has already begun, and the master and Gammon are trading blows at lightning speed. Even the onlooking Whitehead gang members are impressed, saying Gammon's movements are like watching Bruce Lee come back to life. A true battle of masters is unfolding before our eyes. Even after being thrown to the ground, Gammon's eyes burn with a desire to win. He screams, "I want to win." This unbreakable will is his greatest weapon. The scene flashes between the fight and Gammon's inner thoughts. The master believes paying a price is natural to get what you want, and Gammon agrees. He's paid his price through hardship, and he expects his reward, getting into university. The fight intensifies. Blood is trickling from the corner of Gammon's mouth, but he refuses to back down. This isn't just a battle of skill, it's a battle of sheer willpower. Meanwhile, the captured students aren't just sitting around. The members of the intel squad are fighting back, working together to create an opening even while tied up. The red-haired guy lands a perfect kick, taking down one of the thugs and creating an opening for his friends. The power of teamwork is on full display here. And the girls are no damsels in distress. One of them pulls off a dropkick, shocking the thug who sneers, "I didn't know girls at Yusung High could do that." Dude, you're about to get schooled. The orange-haired girl is on another level, untying her ropes in a split second. The thug is just stunned. Her skills are no joke. Cutting over to Sivon's storyline. It seems his brother caught him fighting and is now lecturing him about getting mixed up with Yusung High kids. He clearly has a low opinion of the school. And get this, the troubleshooter, Manager Park, was introduced by his own brother. He claims he's here to teach Sivon how to handle trouble. Yeah, right? This feels more like a recruitment pitch for the mob. Manager Park drops a name, Minwon, revealing it's the reason Sivon transferred to Yusung High. The mention of this name sends Sivon into a panic, making him want to bolt. Clearly, there's a deep story there. Park continues his pitch, saying school is useless for a prodigy like Sivon, who apparently annihilated a gang at age 10. He's trying to lure him into a different, darker path. He's even dangling the ultimate prize. If Sivon plays his cards right, he could become the boss of the White Lead gang, or even higher. Can Sivon resist the temptation of that kind of power? Back with Gammon, the master suddenly says a name that leaves everyone in the room completely shocked. Wait, is there a secret to Gammon's identity that we don't know about? Sunchul tries to get Gammon out of there, but the master stops them dead in their tracks. He's not done with our boy yet. What could he possibly want now? The bloodlust coming off the master is intense, and everyone can feel it. He's looking at Gammon with this thrilled expression, like a predator who's just found the most exciting prey. Image data corrupted, skipping this frame. Let's move on. The master asks Gammon about his future. A wrestler? A bodyguard? A soldier? He sees Gammon's talent and seems to think it's being wasted. But our boy has only one answer. I'm going to go to university. That unwavering dream is what fuels him. Faced with the master's attack, he doesn't flinch. He meets it head-on. They clash again, and this time, the master is clearly taking it more seriously. Every move is packed with power and precision, but Gammon is holding his own, countering everything thrown at him. The master unleashes his tiger's fist, a ferocious assault. It's almost like he's trying to prove a point that with Gammon's athletic ability, getting into a university through sports would be a piece of cake. His next move, Fierce Tiger Enters the Forest, is just as powerful. The master is amazed by Gammon's talent, but he still can't understand why our boy insists on taking the hardest path, studying. He screams at him, "Are you even good at studying?" as he snatches Gammon out of the air and slams him into the ground. Image data corrupted, skipping this frame. Let's move on. Even while being pinned, Gammon finds an opening and lands a precision strike right on the master's Adam's apple. The old man recoils in pain. Gammon's fight IQ is off the charts. A flashback reveals someone once told the master that Gammon isn't fit for studying and that pushing him would be foolish. But for Gammon, maybe holding on to something you're not good at is the whole point. A strange smile creeps across the master's face. He seems to see a reflection of his past self in Gammon. Two stubborn fools, fighting for completely different dreams. His attacks get more vicious, aiming for vital spots. His disciples are freaking out, worried their master might actually kill him. He yells, "Halt!" and it seems the test is finally over. The master finally acknowledges Gammon's spirit. He understands now. It's the people who choose the hard road, who challenge what they're not good at, who are truly strong. Back in the classroom, we see Gammon's friends cheering him on. He's not alone in this. Something seems to click for the master. He remembers his own past, how people dismissed him. He gets it now. He's decided to stop judging Gammon by his own standards. He tells his disciple that taking on a Yusung student would be bad for the Quin's reputation and dismisses Gammon. But the look on his face says something else entirely. What a foolish, prideful old man. But just as Gammon turns to leave, the master launches a surprise attack. A full Power Tiger's fist meant to completely crush him. Image data corrupted, skipping this frame. Let's move on. The master scoffs, "You fool. Teachers exist to tell guys who think they've hit their limit, that they're not there yet." And as he says this, we see Hankyong, a true teacher, working on a guidance plan to help Gammon improve. Faced with the master's all-out attack, Gammon doesn't dodge. He meets it head-on. Two incredible forces collide, creating a massive shockwave. Everyone watching is left completely speechless. In this battle of dreams and pride, who will be the one left standing? But the story is far from over. Elsewhere, the man from the Whitehead gang pulls out a gun on Sivon. A new crisis is unfolding, and the road ahead for Gammon and his study group is still full of danger.